Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Bataleon 20Y. That's right, Bataleon has been around for 20 years. This board features good old-fashioned traditional camber. So from contact point to contact point, you have that arc of traditional camber. It's going to give you all the load, pop, snap, and drive. Now on top of that, you also have 3BT and sidekick technology in the tips. That's going to reduce any edge bite and catching that you get out at that contact point, as well as more optimal powder float and just a little bit ease of entry in and out of turns. This board's available in 153, 156, 158 wide, and 159. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a day that had low to fair visibility, clouds, wind, fresh pow, chop, chunder, little bit of ice, and I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. This board has that predictable middle of the road flex. You do have more play out in the tips with an ideal flex point right between the contact point and the start of the inserts, then it stiffens back up. The torsional flex is noticeable. When it comes to stability, it's moderately stable. Do keep your knees bent because you can get bucked around, but for the most part, it stays on top of anything that's just choppy and whatnot. You do get a little bit of chatter in the tips that slightly resonates underfoot. So with this board being traditional camber, you have to load it up, and when you roll back on the tail, you engage that flex point, and that creates this little snap pocket that boosts you. This board will pop off anything in front of it with a little bit of work. Not a lot of work, just a little bit. You'll notice that. It's just the right amount of pop to launch a side hit, cat track gap, ollie over a slow sign. And when it comes to jumps, this wouldn't be my first board of choice, but it gets the job done. You can be lazy and laid back and let the lip throw you, or you can load it up and pop and you go a little bit higher and a little bit further, which is predictable. I will say that small to medium jumps are its strong suit. With this board having 3D shaping in the tips, that really does help you be able to butter. It reduces any of that edge catch. So when you get sideways, you can really lock in right at that flex point in the nose or the tail and press. But that camber will take over and you're still gonna get snap. If you know how to butter, you're fine. If you don't, you're probably gonna die. Now, when it comes to jibbing, it takes a little bit of effort just to lock it in, but when you do, you feel secure, it's gonna hold, and when you hit the end of the feature, it snaps out. Going sideways, the torsional flex takes over, and this board cradles the feature. You never really have to worry that it's just gonna bog down on you or clap out. There's a quick and fluid edge-to-edge power transmission with this board. You notice that 3BT helps you engage it, and when you're driving it in ankle steering, you can really noticeably just lay this thing on edge and it grips, it locks in. Short, tight, quick carves, long, hard, drawn out carves, it's got you covered. Basically, if you know how to carve, you're gonna be fine. If you don't, well, time to learn. Who's this board for? The all-mountain freestyle rider. So I'm pretty sure that this is just a Goliath with a different graphic, but after riding the Goliath and the Goliath Plus, those two were great. This board, the biggest problem I had was the base on it, and I never really have problems. I never really talk about this in reviews. This thing just felt like a goddamn suction cup on the snow. It didn't matter what I was doing. The snow was fast. It shouldn't have been gripping. I was going down a steep and it was just like dragging. It almost feels like this wasn't finished properly at the factory, or there was something spilled on it or something. I don't know what it was. It absolutely sucked to try to get speed. Otherwise, all around, it wasn't a bad board, it wasn't a great board, it was just another snowboard that I've ridden. Comparable boards: the Jones Mountain Twin, the Capita Mercury, the Ride Shadowban. Binding recommendations: the Now Select Pro, the Bataleon Astro ASIM, the Union Force. This has been my review of the Bataleon 20Y Snowboard. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you gonna buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you wanna support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.